Every year, the Flying Pig Marathon and Pig Works events donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to area charities. And it is because of our participants that these events are able to give back to the community. Joel Barnhill is in charge of the charities, along with a lot of other things that go on at the Flying Pig and the events. Joel, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Betsy. It's good to be here.
Joel, before we get into kind of the particulars about working with charities and the various ways that charities can partner with Flying Pig and Pig Works, let's talk about your story and how you first got involved in working with Flying Pig.
I've been involved with the Flying Pig now. I think this is my 13th year. I've got a long history of doing event management, pro golf, college athletics, some festivals and other things. So it was a big background. I got laid off actually from college athletic job, and then was actually referred by you to Ira Simpson Bush, and the rest is history, as they say. So I took the job just to manage post-race events for the Flying Pig, and then that turned into working with the charities to help them with their fundraising through the Flying Pig.
And that's one thing I think that we can emphasize, that a lot of people don't realize that the Flying Pig Marathon and Pig Works, they are 501c3s. They are nonprofit entities. And part of the mission of the Flying Pig since day one has been to give back to the community and really be a conduit for charities to raise money. So how did you get involved in the charity aspect of it?
We had set up, and I think at the time, Mary Ensweiler, who was handling not only volunteers, but charities, I think it saw the need that it needed a person to kind of manage the charities through the event and how they fundraise and those type of things, and be able to help them specifically to raise more money. So I was asked to take on the charity aspect of it, and I did, but Mary had created an actual structure where we have 4 different levels. We have partner charities, associate charities, volunteer groups, and then, as you mentioned when we were talking before, the biggest raffle ever contest. So we have those 4 different levels. Charities can participate in generally 3 of those 4 if they want to. Not all of them do, some just do 1. But the partner and associate levels are really for groups that kind of the traditional fundraising aspect. So if they're raising money for a cause, people walk or run and get accept pledge dollars or solicit pledge dollars in order to raise money for that group. That's the kind of the traditional way that fundraising started, through events like the Flying Pig Marathon. And so we've continued that. The partner level is really for those groups that, and we have about 30 of these, that they come back every year, they raise money through the pig every year. They're kind of our staple groups. The associate level is more for groups that are getting started or have never done this before, and it's a way for us to get them involved as an official charity and offer them some benefits so that they can start a team. And then obviously volunteering, we need about, I think it's 8,500 people now to help manage the event. And so volunteer groups, we give them a donation in exchange for them helping us to manage the event. And then the biggest raffle ever, and I can talk about that a little bit later if you want to, but it's really just a raffle contest that any charity can be a part of. And they keep $5 per ticket for the raffle. The raffle purchaser gets a chance to win prizes, and the charity keeps all the money that for every ticket bought on their behalf, they keep all the money that's raised. So that has proven to be a really nice event for us over the years. I think we're maybe in our 10th year now with the biggest raffle ever.
And another thing that may surprise some folks, I mean, more than 300 charities have some kind of involvement with Flying Pig and Pig Works events. What are the advantages, just what you see on the different levels, the way that charities can get involved? What do you see are some of the advantages for a charity to partner with the Flying Pig?
Well, there's, if you're looking for just a charity's looking for just an easy way to be a part of the Flying Pig event and not really have to do a lot of effort with it. The biggest raffle ever has offered that. It's kind of the non-running team way to be involved. And so really we handle all the management of the raffle, the ticket sales and all that. And the prizes are covered by sponsorship. And we've had a great sponsorship with Stockyards Bank and Trust for the last, I guess it's been 4 or 5 years. But it's just a great way for charities to be involved in the event and promote the event, as well as promote themselves and raise some money. And it's really just kind of a hands-off approach. The only thing they need to do is promote the link to go buy the tickets and out to their supporters and constituents. So that's a really easy way to be part of it. Obviously, the running teams are a little more intensive because you've got to recruit people to raise funds for you if you don't already have people that are recruiting themselves, so to speak. But you've got to, put that all together. And then we provide a discount code for those groups to incentivize those runners to come out and be part of the event. And then how they structure their, their running team, or how they structure their fundraising for that is really up to them. They keep 100% of what they raise. So it's up to them how they do it. And I've seen it run the gamut. I've seen people just accept a small donation to run the 5K. Others want people to raise, a significant amount of money, and they can only be in the full or the half. So it just depends on the group that is doing it and their history and background with how they structure it. So,
and it's really something that a charity or a nonprofit of any size can be involved in. I mean, we have some of the big national charities who have been partners for years. And then there may be a booster club at a high school, and they can be involved as well. So I think that some charities, some groups may not think that they're big enough to be part of it. But really, as you talked about, there's something for everyone there.
Yeah, I've had groups that they had 5 people running and they've raised, $10,000. Each person, just went out and raised a bunch of money. And I've had groups that were just raising money for to build a school that was raising money to build a playground set. We've had scout troops that were raising money for a camping trip or something like that they want to do. So it just depends on the group and what they're trying to achieve. Obviously, as you mentioned, some of the bigger charities they try to make it a part of their major fundraising efforts throughout the year. And so they may have 5 or 6 events that they do, and this is one of them that they push the event a little stronger than others.
Yeah. Have you heard any really great stories from some of the charities about really what fundraising through the pig has meant to them, especially in the last couple of years? We know that it's been tough for charities, been tough for everyone to try to raise money to get back into the swing of things. Do you have any great stories from some of the participants or recipients about what this means to them, their group?
I can probably give you 100 different stories. I think there's a couple good ones. We had one group that was involved with, animal rescue. And for them, they were trying to help with, I think it was during one of the hurricanes, and they were trying to help with getting more animals that were, orphaned basically from their families during the event. And so they started to raise money, and I think they started with the biggest raffle ever, but they ended up with a couple of participants, and this was several years ago. But they were able to put together a really good program to raise money. They really kind of sent an urgent message out to all their supporters, and they raised significant dollars to be able to accept a lot of those animals that were orphaned, bring them all the way up here to Cincinnati area, and then take care of them until they could be adopted out after that. So that was a really good story. I've had a number of schools, like I mentioned before, that, you know, they have a certain purpose that they want to buy equipment or computers, or I think one group wanted to buy a 3D printer. So all those type of things that, you know, that it's just, you hear one good story after another. And I mean, I think that's the great thing about, you know, my experience in working with the pig is it's, you know, it's not about, you know, obviously we have winners, you know, that win the actual race, but there's winners all around. It's, you know, if you achieve the goal of fundraising that you set out for, you're going to, you know, it's a win. It's a win-win, no matter, you know, who is participating in that and what time they have in the race and all those type of things. So it's great.
You mentioned that you got started with the pig and the PigWorks events by putting the event together. Not only do you help out with the charities, but you also help out with the victory party. If people have finished the flying pig and they go over to the Michelob Ultra Victory Party, that in itself is an operation right there. You know, that's kind of an event within an event. For those of us who really don't know the background or the backstory of organizing all of that, tell us a little bit about what it takes for you to make sure that there's entertainment, there's food, there's tents, there's all kinds of things going on there, even after the race, after the event. So tell us a little bit about, you know, what you do there and all the work that it takes to organize that.
Yeah, it's just, you know, one of those things where you just kind of, I don't know, I call it kind of plod along. You know, you have to put things in place. You have to put tents. You have a lot of vendors that you work with for staging and sound, and you know, you have to kind of put all those pieces together first, and then you start to plug in. You send out emails to vendors and other groups that you've had working with you before. You know, we send emails out to our charities and see if they would like to be involved, to have a, you know, a post-race event space where they can meet and greet with the participants who are raising money for them. So you just kind of, you start piecing that together, and then there's a sponsorship aspect as well. Generally, a lot of our sponsors like to be at the post-race to you know, obtain that exposure from the participants who are finishing the race that day. And so, or maybe they have a promotional activation that they're doing at the event, at the post-race event. So all those pieces have to go into place. A map has to be made, logistical instructions have to be sent out. And so all those people know where to go and when and what time and when to set up. And so unfortunately, I have a lot of OCD, so I spend a lot of time with details and, you know, putting together logistics instructions and things for people to appear at the right time, so they're not having a lot of trouble getting involved in the event. But yeah, it's a little tricky at times, but it's fun when you see it all come together and you're standing there at the event and you're like, wow, this all happened. You know, under my watch. I wasn't expecting it to go this well. So it's always fun to see that.
For your part, I think it's so important that people do have a place to celebrate and they do have a place to relax, because whether you've done a marathon or whether you've done a 5K or a 10K, whether you've done a relay, it's time to celebrate. And, you know, if you've never done a 5K before, you're just as happy as if someone has just finished a marathon. And I think that, you know, that party is part of that celebration, that you can celebrate not only your accomplishment, but celebrate all the time that you put into it, all the people who have helped you get there. I mean, that's really part of the event as well.
Oh yeah, I think, and like I mentioned before, I mean, that's where you see a lot of the, you know, the victories, so to speak, of the event, more so than you know, where they finished in the race. It's really where you see the people reuniting with their family, reuniting with the group that they raised money for, reuniting with friends that they've run with. And those achievements are, those are important to people. People think they cannot, they can't do something, and they go out and do it. And they're like, wow, I was able to achieve that. And it's just great to be a part of that and see that.
We still have time to be involved in the Biggest Raffle Ever. So give us a little plug to still get into Stockyards Biggest Raffle Ever.
Yeah, so the way it works is the charity will sign up, and on our website, under the Get Involved section, there's an overview for charities, and they can go to or there's a Biggest Raffle page there as well, and they can go to that application. There's a form there to fill out. Once they fill that out, we will get them set up on biggestraffleever.com, and it's just a drop-down menu. Their name will be listed on that menu, and then they can start, once that's listed, they can start promoting that website or that link out to their supporters to go there and buy tickets. As I mentioned before, they're $5 each, and the person has a chance to win prizes. So the prizes are $10,000 cash to the first prize, and that is $5,000 to the winning ticket and $5,000 to the charity that they purchased the ticket for. And then the second prize is $5,000 cash, and it's a $2,500 split between the winning ticket and the charity. And then the third prize is a Cincinnati experience. It's a kind of getaway weekend in Cincinnati. And that has a $1,500 value to it. So 3 nice prizes. Occasionally we have other prizes from sponsors that we put in there too. And then we would just draw additional numbers if we do that. But those are the 3 main prizes that we've had for quite some time. And then they just promote, we send out updates to the charities as we go along. Here's how many tickets have been sold. Here's how much money you've raised so far. And then they have, at the end of the day, we will send them a list of those donors because they're in all intents and purposes, they're their donors. And then we send them a check for the amount that was raised. So we hold that money until after the event, and then we finalize everything after the event. So yeah, if charities still want to get involved, I think we have we're coming up on the deadline. It's April 1st to sign up, but certainly charities can sign up until that point, and they'll still have a month to promote the event. The drawing will be held on May 1st, Sunday of the full marathon and half marathon and the relay. So.
Excellent. So there's still time to get involved for the charities. And of course, there are other opportunities throughout the year that charities can partner with PigWorks events. So we certainly hope that the groups that really want to try to raise money throughout the year, they take advantage of that as well. And now you know the person behind the party. Once you cross the finish line and you get to celebrate the Michelob Ultra Victory Party, well, you know who puts that on. So if you see Joel Barnhill wandering around afterwards, tell him thank you, because it is quite an operation over there. And Joel does a great job doing it. Joel, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Bessie. It's great to be here.